name is Leo Cakounes. I've been involved in the cranberry industry for, well, almost 30 years now. Came to the Cape and my wife and I wanted to try to buy a nice piece of land and wanted to stay in agriculture. And the only thing available really at the time was cranberry bogs. So we were kind of, not forced into it, but it was the only thing really able to buy. Presently now we have 50 acres of land here in the town of Harwich, 20 of which are cranberry bogs. And we are certified organic cranberry growers. A little different than conventional guys, only in the products we use, but it's the same type of maintenance, if you will, in order to grow cranberries throughout the year and harvest them. I'd like to talk a little bit today about what we do here on the farm. We actually run a cranberry bog tour business. In bog tour business, we try to educate people of the actual life of a cranberry bog, how they started, so we give you a little bit of history, and how we maintain them as cranberry growers today. I'll start with history a little bit. Many of you don't know that the commercial industry of cranberry growing started right here in the town of Harwich. A ship captain here in the town of Harwich realized that cranberries had the same antibodies that limes have. And when there was a hurricane that wiped out the limes in 1840, he saw an opportunity that he was able to load up cranberries right here in the town of Harwich in wooden barrels and bring them down to the harbors in New York and sell them to the different shipping industries. You know, whaling was big back then, and also shipping in general was big back then. Well, he created really the worldwide industry that we have today of selling cranberries. Little bit of history on cranberries too is that the Indians ate them long before we came here. And how they used to harvest them? Basically with their hand. They would just comb the vines with their hands. It wasn't until Mr. Hall started the commercial industry that he helped design and build this right here, which is a cranberry scoop. And if you look at it, it looks like a big hand. And the whole idea behind it is to comb the vines, pull it like that so that the vines stay where they are unhurt, yet the cranberries get collected up into this small wire basket. At that point, the cranberries need to be cleaned so that you people, the consumers, can buy them in a nice plastic bag in the store. How do we clean them? We use this machine right here. This is a cranberry sorting machine. The whole purpose behind this machine is twofold. It has a blower in it. The blower simply blows away the leaves and twigs that we would collect up with that comb that I showed you earlier. Also in here is a series of steps. And this is where the adage that a good cranberry will bounce comes from. The cranberries hit those wooden steps and they jump over a gate if they're nice, good, fresh, hard cranberries. At that point, they exit the back of the machine where we will then hand screen them. By that I mean we make sure that none snuck by that might have a ding or a bruise in them, and make sure that there aren't any white ones still left in there. At that point, we'll take them and put them in a plastic bag and sell them to you, the consumer. Today, most cranberry growers, like myself, have machines similar to this one. This one was built in 1920. We have some as old as 1892 here on the farm to show people how they did it in the old days. Now that process is still used today in the commercial industry. However, they don't use the old wooden machines like this one. But they do use the bounce system, and they do use air to clean off the berries from twigs and stuff. Then they are packaged commercially and sent to the stores for you to buy. A lot of people ask us all the time about the wet harvest. The wet harvest does not produce fresh cranberries. If you want to buy fresh cranberries, you have to buy what's called fresh picked cranberries. And that method is entirely different today. We don't use the hand scoop. We have a machine that's about 3 feet wide, but it does the same thing. Combs through the vines, collects up the berries. They are never washed. They are only cleaned with air. Then they're graded and shipped to you. Now, everything else that's made from cranberries is water harvested. And the interesting thing that you need to know about the water harvest today is that a cranberry bog takes 1 day to harvest it. We get 100 calls a day for people asking us to see the wet harvest. For some reason, most people believe that cranberries are just floating in the water constantly until we come along and collect them up. That's not the case. With a wet harvest situation, it takes 1 day to fill the bog with about 6 inches of water. not up to the waist like in the commercial, only 6 inches. That allows the grower to go out and knock the berries off the vines. The next day, you still haven't seen those berries floating yet. It's not until the next day when he adds another 6 inches of water, so he's got about a foot of water. That makes the cranberries float over the vines and over any weeds that might be out there. Then we throw in a series of boards, collect up those berries into a nice round circle. And really, for 1-2 hours of an entire year, do you see that round circle of cranberries that you see in that commercial. So when you call for a tour, just remember that the harvest is something that happens once a year, and it's very, very quick. We are not like the apple industry, in which the apples come ripe and we can take a whole month to harvest them. As a matter of fact, cranberry growers, the faster they can get them out of the water, the better it is for them when they go to sell them to the commercial fruit processing company. So check out cranberry bogs all around you, and if you are lucky enough to be driving down on a public road and seeing one being harvested, pull over and take a couple of pictures, because I'll tell you right now, it's only going to be out there for a day. Thanks again for visiting. This is Leo Cakounes, cranberry grower in Harwich.